Hey y'all, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. Are you guys ready for a delicious meal? We are going to be making some bourbon BBQ chicken with some coconut lentils and rice, some collard greens, and a creamy coleslaw. I'll link a recipe to the potato salad in the description box, and let's go ahead and get started with the chicken. Now I'm using chicken legs today. Y'all know chicken legs is one of the most affordable parts of the chicken, okay? Now the seasoning for this is going to be extremely simple. I got this brown sugar bourbon seasoning and I am going to just season my chicken very generously. I am using about 2 pounds of chicken here, and I'm going to put on about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of this seasoning. This has the salt, the sugar, the garlic powder, the pepper. It got everything, okay? And if you don't have this, just season up your chicken with your favorite spices. Now, to complement the sweetness and the bourbon, I think a little bit of orange goes really well. So I have this little mandarin orange and I am going to zest it, and then I'm going to put in the juice. I only had one, but if you have two, that would be great. I think this pickle pepper sauce really complements barbecue. It really gets a good flavor up in there, okay? And it leaves you kind of thinking like, okay, what is that? It has like a little clove, a little bit of like tamarind and other spices in there. So if you have this, add about 2 tablespoons to your chicken. If you don't, then you can leave it out. I allowed my chicken to marinate at room temperature for about 30 minutes, just so the flavors would start soaking down to the bone a little bit. But of course, overnight is best. Then I put my chicken in my baking sheet with foil because I'm trying to make cleanup easy. I covered it and I placed this in a 375-degree oven covered for 1 hour. At this point, your chicken should be fully cooked and it should start to be tender. It will also have let off a lot of juice, and you're going to want to remove that juice because it's going to prevent your barbecue sauce from browning on your chicken. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell because I am posting new full meal recipes every single week. With my recipes, your family is never going to get bored with dinner. Y'all, so now I'm going to go in with my barbecue sauce. I'm using some Sweet Baby Ray's. You can use whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. I did not measure the amount of barbecue sauce I used, but I would say I probably used about 1.5 cups, just spread on generously on the front and the back. Growing up, my mom made barbecue chicken once, if not maybe twice a week, especially if she just wanted something quick and easy to make, you know, with a little green beans and some mashed potatoes. Baby, you got dinner. I actually didn't even eat it that much as an adult because I was a little bit tired of it. Have you guys ever had one of those meals, you know, you just ate so much as a kid, you don't want to eat it no more? Let me know in the comments. Now, once I've covered my chicken with the barbecue sauce, I'm going to stick it back in the oven at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to cook it on a low broil until it gets the charred look that I like. This chicken is juicy and flavorful, and I know you're going to love it. Let me know if you're going to try this recipe. Up next is this delicious coconut rice with lentils. I feel like this side dish pairs so well with so many different proteins, and I also love that it's really filling. So first I'm going to go in with 3/4 of a cup of lentils, and I've washed them really well. I'm going to cover them and I'm going to allow them to cook for about 20 to 25 minutes until they are tender. I'm not putting any salt, nothing in them, okay? Then I am going to go in with some coconut cream. This is really rich, but if you don't have coconut cream, you can also use coconut milk. I'm then going to start to season my pot. So I like to use Vegeta vegetable bouillon, but you could also use chicken bouillon, some allspice, a bay leaf, fresh thyme, fresh spring onion, and of course, some of my green seasoning. If you don't have green seasoning, you can substitute adding in some garlic, onion, and a little bit of cilantro or any other fresh herb you have. Then I am going to add my washed jasmine rice. It is important that you wash the rice because you don't want this to come out sticky or anything like that. Now, about halfway through the cooking time, I just wanted to check on the rice to make sure it wasn't too dry. I felt like it was going to need a little bit more water, so I fluffed it up a bit. I put in a scotch bonnet and I just added in a little bit more water to help with the cooking. Now, you may not end up needing to do this, but I wanted to make sure that my rice did not come out dry. Sometimes the lentils can absorb more water than you expect them to, or more water can evaporate than you think, so you end up needing to add a little bit of liquid. I'm going to cover it with parchment paper to trap in the steam, and I allowed this to cook on the lowest heat setting for 20 minutes until the rice was nice and fluffy. There is just something about fresh garden vegetables that just does it for me. Okay, it's like you're getting those natural nutrients from the earth, and I just love it. So I am using some fresh collard greens from my garden. I'm still getting them in nice and tender, at least for now, and I am going to chop these up until about 1/2 inch pieces. I'm also cutting up that stem because when you have these nice tender greens, those stems really cook down well. I'm having a mixture of kale and collards today, and I see y'all probably peep that little purple kale. If you can get your hands on some purple kale, go ahead and do it because that has a lot of good nutrients in it. If you're a gardener or if you just like fresh vegetables, go ahead and put a little heart in the comments. Now I am adding a little olive oil, butter, and some turkey bacon to my pot. I'm going to saute this with 1/2 of an onion for about a minute, and then I'm going to put in about a clove of garlic. Now, as you can tell, these are not super meat heavy greens. I just didn't want to have a strong meaty flavor. I really wanted the taste of the collard greens to come through. So I'm keeping the seasonings even rather light as well. I had a little bit of chicken bouillon, a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes, and then I let this cook down for about 10 minutes. Now, unfortunately, I added a little too much water. So all I did was just let it cook the rest of the way uncovered to reduce that. I have a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of garlic and herb seasoning, and just a little pinch of Vegeta. I'm going to add some vinegar, and I'm going to allow this to cook until it is as tender as I want. These greens are super fresh, so in total, they really only need it to cook about 25 minutes. I love to use red cabbage in my coleslaw if I have it because not only is it beautiful, but it is really healthy. Instead of using a grater, I'm just going to very thinly slice my purple and my green cabbage. Now I am going to grate up a carrot and add that into the bowl with my cabbage. I'm using some mayonnaise. Add as much or as little as you want, but you could also just base this on some olive oil instead of mayo if you want. This is going to be seasoned really simply with some sugar, some salt, and some pepper just to my taste. I started out mixing this with a fork, and then I gave up and just used my hands to put this together. Are you all going to make this meal? You guys know that I love you and Jesus loves you. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I'm going to see you next time. Goodbye and God bless.